Before we get on to the video, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. We're trying to hit 150,000 subscribers by the start of May. We also upload more MyTEAM content than anybody else. If you like MyTEAM content, obviously subscribe. But anyway, now let's get on to the video. What is going on, guys? DBG here, and this is another episode of the series where I rate your squads. I think we're on like 16 or 17 or something. We have done an awful lot of these videos, and honestly, it's been a while. So yeah, sorry, I am a little bit tired. It's been a long day, but these videos are quite easy to make, so hence why I have made like a top 10 list and a video where I'm rating your squads today. Tomorrow I will have an awful lot more time, and then Friday obviously we're probably getting content. So I assume we're getting moments cards tomorrow. If we don't get moments cards, then it's literally been a case of, I don't even remember, was Karis Levert last week? Either way, in the last like 15-16 days we've gotten like very few moments cards, but either way, not the biggest deal in the world. So we're going to start off with this team right here. I play 5 out, rim run / kick out, willing to spend all my MT. So he has 300k MT. First of all, don't do that. Do not do that. Do not spend your MT because it is not worth it. So the whole thing with MT is that like 300k a couple of weeks ago wouldn't get you anywhere near what 300k is now. And I advise you, if possible, like spend as minimum as possible on players, because it's like in every batch they're releasing, there's like a 15-20k card. It's a god. So, okay, so we got Westbrook, DeRozan, Rudy, Giannis, Marcus Gasol, pink diamond as well as a big one. You got Shea, Granger, Odom, Aldridge, Ayton, Caruso, Stevenson, Green. So first of all, Stevenson's better than DeRozan. I'm saying that right now. I'm gonna give this team an 8 out of 10. Not gonna lie, it's a pretty good team. Like, there's no like major problems with this team. I think the fact that Shea isn't a range extender player might be a bit of a problem, but you know what, Shea's really good. If I were you, I'd sit on MT, to be honest. I would probably put in, like, as much as I do like Shea, I don't think he's that much better than Caruso. I'd just probably throw in Caruso, get rid of DeRozan, put in Stevenson, replace those two guys in the end of your bench, and you are going to be golden. Odom's perfectly fine in there. I was about to say, I'd make sure to have someone at the power forward position that can move a little bit, because Aldridge sometimes gets beaten on defense. You've got Jeff Green, who's like a cheap Giannis. Look, this team's really good. You know it's good. It's a really good team. This is like an 8.5 out of 10. But like, this is the thing with this team, is like it's probably an 8.5 out of 10 to make it a 9 out of 10. I don't think there's any real way within your MT range to make this team a 9 out of 10. However, you can probably save 100k MT and make it like an 8.4 out of 10, which is all literally the exact same by just putting in Caruso, Stevenson, just selling DeRozan and Shea. So I don't think it actually makes a difference, but I would advise you just stack up on MT, because like, as much as the market's crashed now, I'm telling you, there will be a stage where we're getting budget opals, and that will not be that long away. Within the next month, maybe a month, 6 weeks, we see the first like opal that's a buyout. And as soon as we start seeing opals and triple threat boards, we start seeing opals in free packs by locker codes, then the price will completely tank on opals. So I like to run ISO play, sometimes a lot of pick and pops and screens and kick out. So to be fair, I'm guessing a lot of my viewers play my play style, which is a lot of like pick and pops and stuff. It's probably, like, to be fair, like the way I play offense would be similar to the way likes to Splash and Tyler would play. However, I'd be just worse at it. Okay, so you get 90k MT. I don't really like Jokic. Your point guard position is fine, and can't even argue to put in a taller player because you've got Mike Ray Richardson as one of your last 3. Paul George the 3, Kawhi the 3, both unbelievable. I'm trying to think, is Kawhi worth it? Because you've got Tatum locked in, and again, this would be another case if this is a 9 out of 10 team. Like, this is a really good team. This is one of the better teams in the game. This team I would rate at 9 out of 10. But at the same time, you could probably, if you put in Tatum for Kawhi, it probably goes to like 8.9 or 8.8 out of 10, this team. And you've saved a couple of 100k. So I don't know. The only, like, it's weird. I'm actually suggesting to downgrade squads, but I'm suggesting to, like, tactically downgrade them, as in cards like Kawhi, because their moments cards are going to depreciate a lot in value, whereas obviously you have Tatum locked in, so there's no, like, you can't, doesn't matter if it depreciates in value because you have them locked in. So that's what I would suggest. He's like the moments and flash cards do depreciate a lot in value. I think Kirilenko's going to go down in value, but I do think he's fantastic, so I'm not going to say to sell him. You probably can. If you sell Kirilenko and bought like a Kukoc, it would bring this team from a 9 to like probably an 8.5 out of 10. It's probably what I would personally do, but that's a little bit more crazy than saying putting in Tatum for Kawhi. But it's weird. It's gotten to the stage where, to be fair, all these cards are really good, and it's gotten to the stage where it's like one or two alternatives to save your MT is probably better. So I like to play the run and gun style, most points coming from the paint and a few threes. Including middies are open. Would ideally not want to sell most, budget would be around 75k. Okay, so this is a good team. This is like a 7 out of 10 for your MT. It's not like, again, considering the fact you're saving your MT, you're pretty much going around with my tactic of like just keeping everything kind of low. I would suggest Kukoc for Granger. You're saving MT and you're getting, in my opinion, a better card, although Granger is good. So, not the biggest deal in the world. Your team structure is almost perfect, except I would get rid of Ratliff. I do like Ratliff. Well, actually, I do think Ratliff's okay. I'm not going to say I like him. I do think he's okay. He's an alright defender. Problem is that you've got only one shooting center. Oh, you've got Aldridge on the team. Okay, that's fine. Ignore what I said about Ratliff, because if you're stuck, you can just put Josh Smith to the 4 and Aldridge to the 5. So, okay, I would replace Ratliff, but I'm going to tell you what I would replace him with, because if you do end up having Aldridge at the 5, or Aldridge at the 5 and Smith at the 4, it's probably best just, I don't know, actually there's no point to spend your MT. Maybe an upgrade on a Miles Turner. Miles Turner is good. There's not that many upgrades. It's hard for me to pick any upgrades because the team's really good, and any of the upgrades would just be personal preference over anything else. So, this is a really good team. Like, again, it's a 7 out of 10 because you don't want to spend that extra MT. It will cost a lot of money to make an 8 out of 10. However, it is definitely best to sit on your team because you will, without question, be able to spend that MT very, very easily and get upgrades. Like, if you're 50-50 on an upgrade, don't get it. Save your MT, because there will be upgrades coming up for around 20k MT where you will really want the card, and those cards, keep MT for them. Okay, so I do pick and pop and roll, like the dribble, rim run, which is dunking point, which is why you like dunking point cards. Like the dribble and get self open for driving opportunities. Okay, so let's have a look at this team right here. Okay, so point guards, fine. 2 guards, really good, with Stevenson and Drazen. Small forwards, good. Power forwards, really good. I'm iffy on Shaq, but you know what? He's definitely better value in the pink diamond. If you like Shaq, you like Shaq, and you've got Ilgauskas there. Like, structure-wise, this is a 10 out of 10, but obviously rating-wise, this is like an 8.5 out of 10. In terms of, like, I can't give any upgrades. There is no one individual player I can say is better than any individual player you have. And like, I could argue not to use Shaq, but like, you've got Ilgauskas there, so you've got like the complete polar opposite as an alternative. If you don't want to use, if you want a bit more height instead of Rudy, you've got Jeff Green. You've got a 3rd choice point guard, which makes up for the fact that Ray Richardson is not the greatest shooter in the world. So like that, this team's fantastic. There's no real upgrades you can make without breaking the bank. And in terms of, I don't know what the exact value of this team is, but you have gotten the best value cards. Like, whatever price range this is, for like, I don't know, this might be a 400k team. And if this is a 400k team for 400k, you can't get any better than this. Trust me. So yeah, really good job with the squad in terms of value-wise. You cannot get much better. Okay, so playstyle is pick and pop and 5 out. Perimeter-oriented coach, budget player. I use Tyler Debo style. Yep, because the best way to learn tips about this game is by learning from the best. Tyler Debo Splash Edition. If TJ starts streaming again, I'm just Isaac. There's a bunch of these comp players. These are the best players to learn from. So, okay. There are definitely changes in this squad. This squad has a couple of liabilities. It's still like a 7.5 out of 10. There are just a few problems. So, first of all, use guys in your last 3 to bench. I know you might be struggling a little bit contracts wise, but trust me. And you don't need, like, there's a few specific players that I'll talk about a little bit later. So Lopez is steady and cannot guard. 25 lateral quickness, the worst pick and roll defender in the game. You literally run pick and rolls until you manage to switch onto Lopez. Play at LeBron James in 2016 final styles, trying to switch onto Curry. And once you switch onto Lopez, it's guaranteed 2 points. Especially if you've got a gold or Hall of Fame quick first step center, it's guaranteed scores on Lopez. He's just so slow laterally. You've got a lack of range extender on the bench with Green and Millsap. I like both of the cards individually. Don't think they work together. Kawhi is good, but for the price, he's very expensive for what he is. Especially in a team like this. Like, there's no need for you to have DeRozan and Kawhi in your team. Because, again, DeRozan has got no quick first step, not even gold. Like, he's literally got no quick first step. So, DeRozan is just straight up not worth using. Like, you can sell DeRozan, get Lance Stevenson, save 50k, and you got a better card. Kawhi Leonard, I like Kawhi Leonard. He is a really good card. I just think he's way too expensive for what he is. He's give or take a couple of KMT. He's around 100k, like. So, your point guard position is fine with Alonzo and Lin. I would probably throw in Caruso as one of your last 3 just for a little bit of height. Your 2 guard position, while it's pretty, like, DeRozan and Kawhi are fine, you can get alternatives that are almost equally as good and save over 100k combined. Actually, you can get better alternatives. You can literally get 2 cards, like, if you got Lance Stevenson and Drazen. I think Lance Stevenson's better than DeMar, Drazen's better than Kawhi. You're getting 2 upgrades and you're saving about 100k. Rudy is fine. Jeff Green and Millsap, pick one of them. Pick one of them and throw one of them on your last 3 off the bench, but pick one of them to use in your bench lineup and just get some sort of shooter. Get like a Gerald Wallace or something, 3. And Brook Lopez, if you like Brook Lopez, you need an alternative in case someone's abusing him to pick and roll. You need like a quicker center. Someone like a Shaq would work there as like a 3rd choice center, someone who brings something completely different. Caruso would be nice to have, and then one of Millsap or Jeff Green just in your last year off the bench. Then this squad would go from like a 7.5 to an 8, maybe 8.5, but yeah, I'm gonna go 7.5 for this squad. So this team right here. Any suggestions? Okay, I've just realized I spent a fair bit of time on these squads. So this team right here: T-Mac, D-Rose, Kevin Durant, Giannis, Hakeem. So your point guard position is fine. 2 guard, fine. T-Mac's the best in the game. Drazen's pretty good as well. Get rid of Worthy. I'm telling you right now, that Worthy is awful. Also, because Porzingis can't play defense, you need someone in your last year at the bench. Sell Worthy, you're going to get your best part of 100k for him. Hakeem is at like 200k as far as I know. Hakeem is not worth that price. Straight up, Bam is better than Hakeem. Chris Webber is better than Hakeem. I'm not necessarily going to say that Ilgauskas is better than Hakeem, but I'm telling you now, there's gonna be way better cards than Hakeem for like 20k MT very, very soon. So get rid of Worthy and Hakeem. The 2 of those guys are 2 of the worst, well, especially Worthy, 2 of the worst value players in the game. Get a Gerald Wallace for Worthy, 10 times better and way cheaper. For Hakeem, look, there's a lot of players you can kind of throw in. Actually, what I would suggest is moving Porzingis to the 5, getting rid of Worthy, putting in Gerald Wallace at the power forward position. Just get someone you like, try him out, keep Bam in the bio as your bench 5, and yeah, you're going to save a couple of 100k MT. You're going to save probably a couple of 100k MT, yeah, and your team's going to be better. So this team is like an 8. It's an 8 definitely, that you could actually turn into a 9 and save MT. Which is crazy. I don't think I can say that about many squads. So bought Sims because I came up against Giannis for a couple of cards. Or I overpaid for a couple of cards because of my timing. Any suggestions are appropriated. Okay, so I don't really rate J.R. Smith. I don't think that's a very good card. But yeah, again, I think he's another one where if you just put in Stevenson with J.R., it's so little of a downgrade that you're saving 100k MT just for the sake of it. Like Simmons, because you got Billups, Simmons is fine there, and I understand having him for matchup with Giannis. You're fine at the center position. I don't like that Giannis, but he's so cheap that I'm not going to say to not use him because Giannis is Giannis. But I would still put, I'd still probably put Odom at the 4 and a Kukoc at the 3 rather than Odom and Giannis, or even Kukoc at 4, Odom at the 3. I would say that that's a bit of an upgrade, but again, a lot of people do like Giannis and he is very cheap, so that's not a bad player to use. This is like a 7.5. No, it's an 8 out of 10. It's an 8 out of 10 squad. No question. Westbrook's elite. Billups is great. Simmons is great. Kawhi. Again, Kawhi is another one where just replace him with sell him and replace him with Gerald Wallace. Yeah, Kawhi might be better than Gerald Wallace, but like he's very, very slightly better. But yet Gerald Wallace is like 1/10 of the price of Kawhi. So again, you can say it's one of those like tactical downgrades. You're making like you may be losing 1% like in terms of team ability, but you're gaining a couple of 100k MT. So there could be a little bit of tactical downgrades here to make the team a tiny bit worse, but save yourself 100k MT. Because while you're sacrificing your team for a tiny bit in the short term, you're obviously making a lot in the long term. Then we've got Iron 20 with delay, spam, pick and roll / pop, D-Wade and KP investments, 200k for upgrades. So you basically play my style. Okay, first of all, Dwayne Wade and KP are not good investments for the reason that they're going to release super packs before they release the whatever the mystery player is. And I think that the mystery player is probably going to be released in like the middle of April, and I don't know, because there's no like 3,000 tokens. I don't know how great they're going to be in terms of investments. I'm not sure if they'll be bad investments. I just think that there's a chance that they could plummet in price, so I wouldn't say they're the greatest investments. Your point guards are fine. Your 2 guards are fine, especially because you've locked in Levine. Your small forwards are fine. Our forwards fine. Centers are fine. There's no. And then your last 3 off the bench are perfect. So, and look, you've gone 12-0. You're a good player. This is what like an 8.8 out of 10 team looks like. Maybe a 9 out of 10. Thereabouts. It's a perfectly constructed team. Every one of your players except for Wade and Kristaps are probably really good value, and again, you set their investments. The rest of your guys are either locked in or some of the best value cards in the game. So like, look, there's nothing wrong with this team. There's absolutely no suggestions to make. There is no tactical downgrades, because the players that I would normally suggest people to use in tactical downgrades, like Kukoc, Odom and Wallace, you have all 3 of them. So look, absolutely fantastic team. No question about that. So 200k for upgrades, Hawks 18, screen roll such fades, suggestions would be stellar. Alright, so I like your centers, I like your point guards, I like your 2 guards, I like your small forwards, I like your power forwards. So again, this is I think that might be a little bit better than this team. So this is actually a close one. I'm going to give this one again. Actually, I'm going to give this one a 9. And I'm going to give this one a 9. So these are going to be the first 9s we've seen. And we have both of them 9s out of 10. So you got LeBron, Jimmy Butler, Paul George, James Worthy, Weber. Again, there's no... Like, I throw 3 as your last 3 off the bench. Just to use for stamina. I would put a big center as one of your last 3. Like, I'd put like a Shaq or an Ilgauskas or something. Just because Weber and Bam Adebayo are both 6'10". So... you kind of, it'll help to have a big center, but look, it's not that necessary. It's not the biggest deal in the world. You got 2 of the best guys to play the power forward in the game. You've got Paul George and Rudy, 2 of the best small forwards in the game. You got Jimmy, who's really, really good. Again, maybe a tactical downgrade on Jimmy, but that's just a suggestion. That's not, like, it's not a major suggestion, it's just something that I'm thinking about. Wade and LeBron are fantastic. Again, maybe a point guard at the end of your bench to put in case someone is abusing Wade and pick and rolls because he's got no pick dodger. But hey, look, other than that, it's an unreal team. especially if you know how to use Wade. If you're good with his release, like I'm not a good Wade player, but I know from some of the best players in the world that Wade is unbelievable if you know how to use him. So, what do you think? I'm a budget player and I would like to get a new SG. Don't know who to get. So, okay. So, first of all, I would definitely in a budget squad run a 13-man rotation because again, you've got no real alternative when August is tired if Shaq not shooting is a problem. Like you've got the MT. I'm trying to think. You've got a really nice squad here. So I would keep Jeremy Lin in your squad because he's locked in. I'd keep Caruso and Billups as your point guards. That's fine. Obviously keep Lance Stevenson. I don't think there's a perfect 2-guard to get, but I think in the next week we might see one. So if you want someone just to be in there to hold their own and not lose value, I think like even an Amethyst Landry Fields, he's not going to lose value and he'll hold his own and he'll be fine. He's not going to cost you very much MT. Darryl Wallace is fine. Kukoc is great. Giannis is great. Odom's great. Obviously just get a shooting big. If you can get Fields, Aldridge, and Fields is 2-3, and you've got your point guard sorted. Aldridge and I'm trying to think who to use as one of the last three. Like a Bridges or something. Bridges might be a little bit of sense, or Jeff Green. Aldridge, Jeff Green. Actually, Jeff Green's a little bit expensive now. I don't know. Aldridge, Landry Fields, and just somebody else. Just someone that you like, someone your last year off the bench, and the team becomes a little bit better. But this is like a 7.5 to an 8 out of 10. And again, this is one of those almost perfectly instructed and actually, apart from the center position, the fact that one of them can't shoot, almost perfectly instructed and like an unbelievable value team. But anyway, yeah, that is the video. These are all the squads. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.